This is First GenXers.
Poetic beats, poetic beats, poetic beats, poetic beats.
All right, there we are.
Hold on. Got to do one thing real quick. And there we go.
Okay.
Okay. So welcome, y'all. Welcome to this week's edition of the Cheap Pop Podcast. Y'all may notice that we have a little bit different of a look this week. I got the chance to upgrade some stuff. So here we are. Welcome, y'all. And this week, unfortunately, just due to some issues, we will not have the Saint with us, or he may not be with us till way later, but we send him his blessings and hope that he's doing well. So we are going to kick off today's show with a pretty interesting topic, wrestling related, but not necessarily specifically about wrestling. And that is the one and only pro wrestling icon, Hulk Hogan, to be the commissioner of Real American Freestyle Wrestling, along with Eric Bischoff being basically like the social media, the marketing guy. And then Izzy, I can't remember the guy's last name, but he's slated to be the CEO, like the other guy in charge of everything. Hogan will basically, but this is supposed to be a real kind of shoot style wrestling.
Yeah.
As opposed to WWE. For those of you who don't know what shoot means, basically shoot just means real, as opposed to kayfabe, which is story. So I'm not big on anything involving Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan. No offense to Eric Bischoff. I actually don't mind his podcast and his commentary on wrestling. For the most part, is pretty spot on from a business standpoint. He says some dumb things sometimes, but overall his stuff's pretty spot on. So he is just, like it's one of those things where I don't know if I want this, but our friend of the show, mutual friend, Mr. Jamil, he's actually looking forward to it because
AKA Killer J of AP Dub.
Damn right. Well, say he is hyped for it because he's interested to see what they do with it.
Right.
And so like trying to take and look at it from his perspective and look past the Hogan Bischoff part of it, which is hard to do.
Yeah. We all now know what the Iron Sheik meant when he was saying "fuck the Hulk Hogan."
And he's like a foot fungus. No matter how much cream you apply, he doesn't go away. Just saying, like but it's. I like the idea of shoot wrestling, or what some would call true professional wrestling. Is a WWE level promotion, but that does shoot wrestling, and so
and what this is going to be is it's going to be much more technical ground and pound, hold and maneuver base, not so much the the
Story. Yeah.
moonsaults,
Yeah.
the top rope, pedigrees, pile drivers, all that stuff, because they work all that out
Yeah.
pre-match. Because yes, it is a stunt show,
Mhm.
and so
On a level, yeah.
they do sometimes call moves on the fly in the
Right.
ring, but not high risk maneuvers,
Yeah.
because that's gonna. I mean, if you're just doing a shoot match and you decide to do, say, like a Frankensteiner,
Yeah.
you land wrong, that's a broken neck right there on one, possibly both participants. So we'll see. It's going to be basically like high school collegiate Olympic style wrestling, which isn't a bad
Right.
thing.
No,
I
it's
mean,
actually what's funny is that when I see people talk about real wrestling, and I get and I see a lot of that a lot of the times. I'll see people talk about real wrestling versus professional wrestling as it is today. And I've said repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly, if you want to see real wrestling, the NCAA championships happen every year, and they're held on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And they're watched on YouTube. How do I know this? Because Killer J always keeps me informed, and he took me to the Pac-12 wrestling championships a few years back at Stanford University. So, like, if you call yourself a fan of real wrestling and you're not watching that, then I'm sorry, you don't understand what the difference is between what you see in that ring and real wrestling. Like I'm not trying to be an asshole about it or like snooty about it, but the bottom line is that you keep talking about real wrestling. Real wrestling is shoot wrestling, where the best wrestler wins.
Right.
Not the guy that's scripted or the guy that's most popular by the crowd. Like,
Right.
we're popular with the crowd. You know what I'm saying? It's just the dude in the two dudes in the ring. Best man comes out, to win.
So this is it's basically going to be the professional wrestling version of professional boxing now,
Right.
where we're
Right.
going. I'm sure there's going to be all the glitz, the glamour, the hype, the smack talking, all that.
Oh yeah, you got Eric Bischoff running it. Yeah. I'm right there with you. And so we will definitely see all of that, and we will definitely. But I believe that as long as depending on who they get, as far as the people that they put out there, I think we're going to see some amazing matches. I genuinely do, because I think that when you get two guys in the ring, and if you've ever watched the college whatchamacallits, it's right there with you. Like it's great watching these kids battle each other. Is it a exciting match in the same way that watching Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin? Is it one of those types of exciting matches? No, but if you really truly love wrestling, it's exciting to watch. So, all right. So we'll let that go on ahead and jump us right on into Pop Culture Corner. And,
okay, we definitely got glow up now, so I'm liking this new format.
And so, Mr. Dave gave me a long list. So let's start out by saying this: May the 4th be with all who are watching, and happy May the 4th to all of you. So,
and we will be getting into Andor season 2.
Yes.
So,
yes.
All right. So, speaking of Star Wars, this year in, I believe, October or November, there will be a new Star Wars book coming out called The Last Order. And it's going to be focusing on Finn and Janna from Rise of Skywalker after the end of post Rise of Skywalker. So this is going to be in between that film and whatever New Jedi Order is going to be. But Finn is finally getting some love for all you Finn fans out there, and I know we got a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boy. One of only two One of only 2 black guys in the universe, in the Star Wars universe. Now I'm messing with you. Him and Lando Calrissian. That's it.
Yep.
Nah.
So yeah. Oh, October 21st is when it releases.
Okay.
And also, apparently Finn is going to be undergoing Force training also.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to say, did they establish him in the Rise of Skywalker saga? Did they establish him as a Force user?
I cannot remember, honestly.
I want to say that was one of the biggest like mock or like knockings of it, is that they never like revealed Finn as they hinted at it a lot.
Yeah,
but they never outright told or outright showed that he was a Force user.
Yeah, but the general plot is Finn and Jannah are hunting a First Order commander who's been kidnapping children to send them to stormtrooper training camps.
Of course.
And they're going to be confronting. Yeah, Finn and Jannah are going to be confronting their own past and histories as former troopers.
Nice.
Yeah, so
John,
it could be a really big deep dive. And speaking of Finn, John Boyega said that he'd be willing to jump into the MCU now as Bishop.
Ooh.
Yep.
That could be interesting. I think I'll say this. From a physical perspective, I would need him to bulk up a little bit more.
He would need to bulk up, yeah.
But other than that, I could see him playing the character.
Yep.
I think he could definitely fit it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. John Boyega, bro. I'm loving everything about this guy, from watching him play Finn to the stuff behind the scenes and in the news with him and some of the protests that he's took part in and all that. Like, I do.
And not being afraid to speak truth to power about fandom and studio treatment. So,
here's an interesting wrestling / Star Wars thing. Okay. I watched a clip with Cody Rhodes. I don't know if it's gone viral, but it was from the Chris Van Vliet interview with Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes talks about, he goes, there's 2 fan bases that literally cannibalize each other. He goes, one is the wrestling fan base. They literally cannibalize each other till a celebrity or somebody from outside of wrestling says something negative about wrestling, and then they all have one target. Okay, then they're all of like mind in defending wrestling. But other than that, they eat each other alive. And I agree with that. Like there's AEW, WWE, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of infighting that goes on there.
Yeah.
He says the second fan base that he spoke of was Star Wars fans. He said,
he's not wrong in there.
He's not wrong at all. And
I think that he's just too limited in scope.
Yeah.
Because every fan base cannibalizes each other in there.
I can agree with that.
Star Wars, Marvel, Star Trek, Doctor Who.
But the way that he described it the way that he laid out his point for it was this, and this is what cracked me up, because I do see a lot of infighting that goes on about this particular subject. Is he looks directly at the screen and he goes, the prequels were actually good movies. He goes, I know that's going to catch a lot of heat. He goes, but that's the Star Wars I grew up watching.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up on the one that came out in 1977. That was before I was born. This is the Star Wars that I grew up on when I discovered Star Wars and so on and so forth. And I was just like, you know what, dude? I feel you, because I've heard that argument made before. Yeah. Like, it was made much better by Freddie Prinze Jr. in a much more vulgar way, but I love that bit with him. But Cody Rhodes said exactly the same thing. Like those prequels were made for that generation of kids. They weren't made for us as 20 and going to the theater to go see them.
And that's the problem is that we old farts don't want things to change, to evolve. And that's where the problems step in. I mean, I had problems. The stories of the prequels were
Yeah.
just fine. I had some technical issues. Like you were there when we went to go see Phantom Menace in Oakland,
That I was.
and
Actually, saw
Jar
the movie
Jar
3
Binks.
times on the same night.
Yeah, and Jar Jar Binks shows up and opens his mouth, and I'm looking around the theater, and
Oh
I have
man.
the sudden realization that I am the only white person in this theater with a film that fans have been waiting for 20 years.
Let me say this.
But yeah.
I'm not as huge of a detractor about Jar Jar Binks as most. But I do understand the detractions with the Jar Jar Binks character.
Right. I mean, even from the first, when the Nemodians, when the Trade Federation break out with the English in there, I'm like, okay, he's leaning into the old pulp fantasy stuff he grew up on with the Asian masterminds, and it just kind of got a little bit worse from there. And it's I'm not saying George Lucas is racist.
Yeah, no.
He's definitely not.
No,
I
he
think
just
that
stereotyped.
He's just oblivious and buys into stereotypes because it's easier writing that way.
That too, and I always take this into account when dealing with older people. The time they come from a different time. I know it's an old trope that a lot of people use to try to explain away like racist behavior or something like that. But you also have to understand that from George Lucas's standpoint, I don't believe he thought he was being racist. He was modeling these characters after what he thought. I won't necessarily say these people, but but you know what I'm saying? Like he was modeling the characters after what he had been shown of specific people.
And let's face it, just like after Birth of a Nation, D.W. Griffith created did I can't remember what the second film was, but it was all about racial and inequality and persecution in society throughout history.
Yes.
Because George Lucas got caught flack for the Gungans. He went on to make Red Tails.
Okay. Yeah. Was Red Tails was a Lucas film?
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's one of my favorite movies. Especially with Cuba. I was Cuba Gooding Jr., Leslie Odom. Yeah. All right, so you got more Star Wars news for us.
That's basically all the Star Wars news until we get into Andor season 2.
Okay.
This episode. But let's break through the news real quick. Okay. Gillian Anderson has told Ryan Coogler to call her for the X-Files reboot. She's up to playing Dana Scully again.
Wow. Let's see it. Let's do it, Coogler. You did great with Black Panther. I've heard nothing but good things about Sinners. I can't wait to go see that one.
And the fact that it got made on the sly the way that he did. Yeah. Fantastic. All right. And the show that won all the Emmys, Shogun, is getting season 2, and it's going to jump forward a full decade.
That was on Hulu, correct?
FX.
FX. Okay.
Yep.
I have to check that out. It should be on my Disney. It should be either in my Disney Plus. This is really weird because I have Hulu for the live TV, and I have Disney Plus.
Okay. Yeah. The way that they got bundled now is that Disney leveraged their ownership of Fox to
Yeah.
basically buy Hulu, because Hulu was originally Disney, Sony, Fox, and Comcast, I think, all deciding that they want to pitch in and have a streaming platform. They worked out all the rights issues and everything
Okay.
in there. And then eventually Disney bought Comcast's stake in Hulu, and then Fox, they bought Fox, so they got the Fox stake in Hulu. So they're now the majority owner of Hulu. So now Hulu is bundled with Disney Plus.
With Disney
And then
Plus.
we add on, simply because David Salziv has just been taking a weed whacker to WB Discovery and Max. And Max, you bundle Disney and Hulu, and for just an additional $3 a month, you get Max.
You get Max. Well, no, what I was saying is weird. No, that's crazy, because HBO, like the HBO Max thing, has always been so separate from Disney.
Mhm.
Like the Disney Hulu coming together, kind of like saw that coming, but Max was just like, what the? But for me, what I mean is weird by it is like I can go into Hulu and go watch my on-demand section.
Yep.
Or I can go into Disney Plus and watch everything that I can watch on my Hulu on-demand station
Just
on
not
Disney
live,
Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not live. And even Disney's now, I think at some point we're going to get some amalgamation of Hulu and Disney Plus all as one app.
Yeah.
Because Disney's now starting to run live shows or they have live channels that are just channels of TV shows that they have that you can watch on demand that are just playing kind of like what Amazon does.
Yep. They've got,
and they also show live sporting events on Disney Plus now.
Yeah. That
So
they
like
just heard that.
Yeah, so I'm like, eventually I think we're going to get to a point where Disney Plus and Hulu are just going to be one app.
Yep. All right.
And Max probably too, and Max will just be a department of Disney Plus and of the Disney Plus Hulu merger.
It's to hold on to the WB content, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We are getting a reboot of the 1980s cult classic Herbert West Reanimator.
Okay.
From
Never
the
saw
folks
it.
that did. Oh, so this is the movie that launched Jeffrey Combs into stardom.
Okay.
It's H.P. Lovecraft taking on Frankenstein.
Okay,
And,
that sounds interesting.
yeah, and it's a great cult horror film. So yeah, they're redoing that. The only thing that I am wanting to see in that is a cameo by Jeffrey Combs, because he is, of course, one of the great character actors in science fiction. I mean, dude has 9 separate characters in Star Trek alone.
Wow.
Yes.
That's straight insane.
Yep. So that is going to be coming from the people who gave us Haunting in Connecticut. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. And happy 50th birthday for the greatest spectacle in cinema, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It turned
It's
50.
but a flesh wound.
That's right.
I'll be honest. I've seen that movie.
One is the most quotable film ever made.
At least 30 to 50 times.
Yeah.
I will admit, about 75% of those times I was extremely high.
Oh yeah.
But I've never not enjoyed it. Sober or high out my mind, I've never not enjoyed Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I might just go buy it, and not on Amazon, but an actual hard copy of it. At some point soon, because I must show that movie to my daughter.
You absolutely must. Even the Castle Anthrax section.
Yeah. she gets it's for me the scene with the Black Knight is the funniest scene. I know there's funnier scenes, but that scene always is the part what puts me off.
It's just one nonstop laugh riot. Yeah.
It's like, dude, you have no arms.
Yeah.
I
Got no
get
arms.
gumption, but you have
Put
no
your kneecaps off.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Congratulations, Monty Python and the guys.
Yes. Yeah, and continuing in remakes, Universal's decided, well, you know what? Maybe it'll work the second time, and they're going to be doing another Miami Vice movie. And this is going to be directed by Joseph Kosinski, who gave us Top Gun Maverick.
Okay, that was pretty
And
good.
yeah,
Okay.
and Dan Gilroy will be penning the script, who I believe is Tony Gilroy's brother, relative, and also wrote and directed Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. Okay.
Yeah, so we will see how that turns out. You know, the Colin Farrell and who is playing Tubbs in the
I don't remember. Oh, in the last
Jamie
one,
Foxx. Yeah,
Jamie Foxx. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, you know, Jamie Foxx since that last movie, because I believe Jamie Foxx was a little new to acting. Like I think he only had like 3 or 4 major roles underneath his belt at that time, and I wasn't really sold on Jamie. But I can now him as an actor, I can get into it.
Yeah,
I can get into it.
okay.
You know, so let's see what Jamie and Colin. And I'm a Colin Farrell fan myself too. So let's see what both of them can do.
And my last two news articles before we dive into Andor season 2 are both Marvel related.
Okay.
First of all, Jeremy Renner said that Disney offered him half his Hawkeye wage for season 2.
Yeah.
Which is why it's not really returning at this point.
Yeah.
Which
that's some bull.
That is some absolute bullshit.
You know, like bottom line is like Jeremy. I hate to say it like this, or not. I hate to say it like this. I love to say it like this.
Yeah.
This is a problem that you have when you too perfectly cast a character. There aren't many people that could have made Hawkeye what he was other than Jeremy Renner. Yeah. So you pay that man like he's a one-of-a-kind actor who could have, like you did Robert Downey Jr., like you did Chris Evans, you know, Chris Pratt. You pay them well because they made the characters their own and became such, and the characters took on a life of their own. Right. You're not going to offer Sam Jackson half of what you paid him for Avengers Endgame, are you? No.
It's not like it's the opposite of the Terrence Howard situation. It wasn't that Terrence Howard was going to get less money for Iron Man 2. It's that Robert Downey Jr. was going to get more money.
Yep.
Yeah. And Jeremy Renner had the absolutely perfect quote on this situation. He literally said on the High Performance podcast, he said, I'm sorry. Why? Did you think I'm only half the Jeremy because I got ran over by my snowcat?
Hell of a way to take a horrible situation and spin it forward. And spin it forward.
So good on you, Mr. Renner, and don't take no shit from the C-suite.
Yep. And that's the thing about it. Like, I believe it started with the fact that guys like Robert Downey, guys like Samuel L. were like, yeah, we'll do this. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to pay us like what we're worth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it even got people like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
To a point.
The amount of big name actors that they got on board for not just like up and comers. I mean, Anthony Hopkins. Yeah.
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, exactly. And they got him on board just to have fun and do all this stuff. Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love this role.
I
will say honestly, I'm going to say this. I know everybody hated this. But to me, the screaming goats were the best part of. I couldn't stop laughing every time they came on screen. That laugh put me in my chair. Just what the hell? Whoever thought of it, bravo, man, bravo.
Well, okay, the screaming was something that they thought of, but Thor's chariot in mythology is actually pulled by those two goats.
Really?
And yes. Oh! It gets better. Okay, because Thor has a special bag that every night while he's on Midgard, he kills and cooks those goats over the fire, has a feast, puts the bones in the bag, and at daybreak, they're back to normal.
Oh my God. Don't worry, buddy. We're just going to eat you. It's okay. You'll be back tomorrow.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness.
Now you know why those goats scream.
Yes. All the time.
Yep.
Help!
All right. Okay.
Somebody understand us. This nigga's eating us every night. We don't care if we come back anyway.
Okay. And more Marvel shenanigan news is Rick Veitch, famous comics creator, co-creator of Sentry, that we have all met in Thunderbolts, is publicly calling.
Thunderbolts, but I will.
Yeah, I have to see that too. He's calling Marvel the House of Stolen Ideas.
Wow.
Because he's not getting any credit at all for his contribution to Thunderbolts. He says he's been cut out and thrown under the bus.
So he said basically he mad because his name ain't in the credits. And
that people have just kind of ignored him.
Wow.
And he's a pretty big. And also because Marvel rewrote the pitch history of the character to say that, oh yeah, Stan Lee created this. It was a never published superhero created by Stan Lee decades ago. Only that was a metafiction. Yeah. And so it then evolved to Marvel said, well, Stan didn't create Sentry, but it was created in the 90s by writer Paul Jenkins and artist Jay Lee, and that isn't even created correctly. Yeah. So it's, come on guys, let's get your act together. And one final sad note to end all this on, especially for comic books. We lost one of the great modern comics artists as Jackson Butch Geiss passed away of a long illness, his family reported. He was a huge artist for both Marvel and DC back in the late 70s and 80s. He was the primary artist on ROM. He was the artist on Micronauts for the end of that series run. He is the co-creator of Apocalypse from there. And he was also the artist for the first many arcs of X Factor back in the original X Factor run. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite comics. Love it.
Yeah. So
I actually just bought a year subscription to Marvel Unlimited just so I could go back and read some of the comic books.
Oh yeah. I've got my X Factor #1 that's been signed by Stan Lee. So
nice.
Yeah. I just need, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to get Butch Geiss now, but I'm hoping to pin down Walter Simonson since he was one of the main guys on there, and Bob Layton, and I love it. So yeah. So rest in peace, sir. You gave us a better geekdom with your results. And that is all I've got in the way of news, which means that we can catch up somewhat on Andor season 2.
Yes, yes, yes. It's been an interesting like couple of episodes. Like I've gotten through 5. I haven't gotten to the end of 6 yet, but I did watch 1 through 5. And I don't know. To me, it's kind of slowed down. Like me and you were talking about this a little bit off air. That like I don't mind the fact that because I understand that the whole galactic politics thing is a part of the whole Star Wars universe. You can't really tell a Star Wars story without having a little part of it be something about that. But it feels like it started out feeling like a real like remember I was saying a couple weeks ago the last episode, like it starts out the pace is real quick and
The
it's
pace
real
is great. Yeah, it was great. We got Cassian stealing the prototype TIE Defender.
Yep. And you got him. Yeah, and you got the whole thing with the guys in the jungle when he's supposed to meet the pilot. Like they got a lot of great moments there in the first couple of episodes, but 4 and 5 kind of feel like they just kind of grinded the whole momentum to a halt a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that the issue is that, and this is not a complaint. It's just an observation, because this is a very intricate espionage series with a lot of moving parts.
Okay.
And the problem is, with like Rebels. Okay, so you got Ghost Cell, and then you got to know you've got the Empire side where you've got
Palpatine.
What?
Palpatine or no?
No, not Palpatine, but the Imperial agent.
I can see the face.
I can't remember. Yeah, the mean guy, the Imperial governor on there. So you've got a relatively tight cast in there.
Right.
Here in Andor, people that I'm spending like half of the second season. Okay, who's this Willman guy again? Why is he important? It's like, is this Bix's brother in there? Why? And
a little love affair between the curly haired kid, and the blonde haired chick on the at the farms was just like,
it's like random. A lot of stuff coming out of nowhere, and also changes like Vel, the cell leader from season 1, who was the leader that Cassian joined to steal those, hundreds of millions of credits from the Imperial Depository and get away. She is a major factor in season 2, but the problem is that she is now a redhead instead of the blonde that we're used to.
Okay.
She's like one of Mon's closest friends, possibly even a cousin, I think. And she's the long redheaded Chandrilan who shows up at the wedding. And
okay.
Especially the Chandrilan scenes, it's like, okay, so we know we've got the groom's father is the money launderer that Mon is getting the funds for the rebellion laundered through, and then we've got the art collector that she's using to launder. And I'm not talking Luthien. I'm talking the Chandrilan that helped her set up the foundation and everything. It's like, who are these people?
Yeah, like we have no context. They just kind of pop up, and it's like,
exactly. Who's involved with who and we got remember Lonnie in the ISB from season 1. Yeah, he's back in season 2, and it doesn't hit until he meets with Luthen in episode 5. And it's like, oh yeah, this guy in there. And it's just everything is
it's just not
I will tell you that it's not going very well. I mean, they Bix and Cassian are reunited, and they're living in a safe house on Coruscant.
Yeah.
And Bix is spiraling because of her experiences. She not only had that mental helmet torture from season 1,
Mm.
where the guy just says, "Oh, it won't be very long, but for you, it'll feel like forever."
Yeah.
Yeah, that she has I don't want to sugarcoat it or downplay it,
Mm.
but it is a near rape scenario.
Great. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no penetration, but there is violence.
Oh,
And
you're
it's
talking about the scene with when they're in the
the
little house
yeah,
in the yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah, the
Imperial
Imperial dude.
Lieutenant who says, "Yes, is your husband home again?"
Yes. Yeah, that dude was just creepy from the get. Like as
Exactly.
soon as he
Yeah,
came on, I was just like, "You ain't right, dude." Like,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
and
And you could see it coming too
yeah,
from that dude's first appearance.
yep.
This was not going to end well. And Bix is having a
I just
hard time. See, episode 6 though,
kind of
things get
clears it
better
up.
for her. So
I'll be
you
honest
got
with you.
that to look forward to.
The only person I felt sorry for in that sequence was the black dude.
Yeah,
Because dude got blown away and like he didn't even know really what was going on.
right.
Like he didn't
Yeah,
know what his boss was up in there doing and
yeah.
acting like that. And like,
Well,
he was like,
He did when she came out and said he tried to rape me. He
yeah,
kind of just did the and
yeah,
you
yeah,
killed
yeah.
her. So
Well, again, like,
again,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
see your
Uh,
point, but nobody's really great in this
oh yeah,
situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Um,
But
but
it was
then
just yeah, because dude caught one in the side that was just like,
yeah,
oh,
but then um, like the jungle fighters
yeah,
that Cassian encounters on his way to try to deliver the TIE Defender, where he's supposed to meet his contact, and they find out that they killed his contact. What the hell? What was the point of them? I
and
mean,
especially
other than to show just how absolutely unconnected the rebellion is at this stage in life, in
yeah,
that they literally have the right hand not knowing what the left hand
but
is doing in there.
and also it left me like I understand, especially in Star Wars, there's going to be random characters that make no sense, that don't
Yeah,
feel like they serve a purpose.
yeah,
Like, and may not feel like they serve a purpose in the moment, but may not end up actually serving any purpose. I feel like those fighters, that those people that were there were kind of that because they were
yeah,
just stranded there. And then when we ended it, where do we end? Them fighting amongst each other and still stranded there. Like, it was like,
exactly.
okay, so like 4 people died during the course of Cassia being here. Like,
Yeah. So
what?
the theme of this season, if I could choose one word for the theme of Andor season 2, it's PTSD.
Yeah.
Everyone dealing with their PTSD. Those jungle fighters, Bix,
Yep.
Luthen, um, just about everyone is dealing with their own trauma. And episode 6, 5 and 6, we get Saw coming back.
Yeah,
And
that was
he
pretty.
just, oh, yeah. And Forrest Whitaker, Oscar winner, he
Amazing.
delivers a speech that's just as good as Luthen's speech in Andor season 1.
Yep.
And it shows you really how far gone it is. It also shows you, that when he's huffing in Rogue One, he puts the
Uh,
gas mask to his face and breathes in every so often.
uh,
That's not for survival. He's
really?
addicted to Rhydonian fumes, and
That is interesting.
he is so far gone that he is Rhydonian, the fuel that
Yeah.
fuels all the starships. He is waxing poetic about Rhydonian being his sister who died back in Rebels when they were teens.
Oh,
In
okay.
in how in how it has the same explosive fury that his sister had, and it's now his sister, and this close connection that they have, and he's just in there just huffing when they're doing the Rhydonian heist. He's there just huffing the fumes that are coming off straight forward because it leads to hallucinations and and that's what's wrong with Saw. Okay.
I was going to say it makes sense with some of the extremely erratic behavior he has going on.
Yeah, it does. And so great character development there, great performance again. Everyone's just turning in fantastic performances. The Chandrilan wedding sequence, there is now a 1 hour cut of Mon Mothma just dancing at the wedding in there. You remember that 1 hour cut of Wednesday at the goth prom dancing? It's like that. And let's give full credit to Genevieve O'Reilly, the actress. She's doing all those maneuvers in heels.
Dang. I'll say this. That wedding had a poignant moment that almost had me choking up. The scene with her and her daughter where she tries to tell her, like, look, you don't have to do this. Like, we can leave here now and it'll be okay. And her daughter's just like, yeah, kind of wish you hadn't said that. Like, and just left her in shock. And I was just like, oh man, wow.
In there, is absolute. It's fantastic. I mean, and the depth of the ISB plot, and the new planet that's being occupied, Gorman, where you had Phoenix in season 1. It's now Gorman. Gorman, I knew of because of the old lore. It was the site of a massacre where Gormans were basically protesting the Empire and had occupied a landing pad that then Major Colonel General, then non-Grand Moff Tarkin, was wanting to land, and he's got there's hundreds of protesters on the landing pad. He dropped the cruiser on them.
That is cold.
It's like, cold, they get out of the way, they get out of the way. They don't. Who cares?
Is that episode 6 that he does
that?
No.
This is in prehistory. This was like what brought Tarkin to the attention of the Emperor, and why pre-rebels.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Palpatine just heard that and said, "That's my guy."
That's my guy. That sounds like somebody we should be friends with. Anyway.
Right. But, and more to the point, a lot of people I've seen online, they're watching season 2 of Andor, and they're just like, "Oh my God, how did they know to write this stuff that just clicks in with everything going on in the United States at this time?" From rise of authoritarianism to the treatment and of the illegal immigrants to that. It's because Tony Gilroy paid attention in history class. Okay. This is nothing new, people. This has happened in cycles and cycles and cycles throughout human history. We're just adding space travel and laser guns to this now. Okay.
No shit. All right.
So so far it's great. Season 6 or episode 6. You are going to absolutely go bonkers with with the ending. It's just the tension going through the entire episode and going up to the final. You watched episode 5 is when Luthen sends Andor to Gorman to assess the resistance there.
I was gonna say 5 is the one when they find the mic or the one dude
right
during audit. Yeah.
yeah, they need to make sure that they get that microphone out. But yeah, one of the plots is, I won't spoil it for you. You'll see. But Luthen's job for Cassian, his first job, is to go evaluate the Gorman front and see what they are. And yeah, Cassian does not mince words about what he sees there. So, and the interesting thing, if you look at it, the Gormans, it's a completely made up language that they use rather than galactic basic English. But the Gorman language, it has a French accent to it. It feels like French in the same way that in Rebels, the Twi'leks speaking in their native and in Galactic Basic sound French. And so you've got that tie to the French resistance. And that's why if you notice, everyone on Gorman, male or female, is wearing a beret style cap.
Little details.
Little details indeed.
All right.
So it's pretty. It's fantastic. Go watch it. You're gonna love it. But yeah, Star Wars: Tales from the Underworld begins today, May the 4th.
Yay, May the 4th.
And the next 3 episodes of Andor drop on Tuesday.
On Tuesday,
I think that may be the last 3 episodes.
Is it only 9 this time around?
I think it might be. I don't know. We'll see. We'll take what we get because we're happy with it.
Yep. All right. So this will be the last subject before we go to break. And it'll be a real quick one. I was reading through some articles on CBR.com. Okay. And they had this article that talked about 10 good reasons why Alan Rickman from Reacher should be the next Batman. So would love to get your thoughts. I can see it. And to me, he fits the body type a lot better than
Robert Pattinson. Than just about every one of them, one of the live actors.
Yeah. So I would love to get your thoughts on should he be the guy that dons the cowl in the new James Gunn DCU?
I think that he has. I haven't watched Reacher. I know a lot of people have. So from what I understand of Reacher, it's not Tom Cruise's Reacher. Yeah,
it's not. It's gone so far away.
It's true to the books where Reacher is a drifter going around. And he came to notice playing Hawk in the Titans TV series.
I remember that.
I dropped off of Titans before Hawk and Dove were introduced.
But I watched season 1 and 2, and I want to say they were introduced towards the end of season 1, but they really went in depth with season 2.
When Titans was just way too dark for me. You're talking about a series where the crime fighting is much more lighthearted, and when you have Beast Boy writhing in pain during his transformations, like it's American Werewolf in London. No, that's not the Titans. That is too far for me. Beast Boy is the most joyful of the Titans. Yeah. This is the guy who loves his powers, who has no problem with his powers, even though he's a green colored person now. And it just completely ruins the character for me. Nightwing comes in second, where in the opening episode of Titans, he slams the dude's face against the car window, breaking the car window, and then cheese grates his face along the shattered glass edge of the car window.
Yeah.
That's kind of a little much. I mean, that's a Bruce move. That's
for a Titan. Yeah.
But no, more importantly, that's a Bruce move. That's not excuse the pun. That is not a Dick move. Okay. Yeah. It is a Dick move.
Dick Grayson.
And it's not Dick Grayson move. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. But I got Max for cheap. So what the hell? It's still there. I'll get into it. I'll get into Penguin. I'll get into all this other stuff in there. It's right. We'll see how it goes. But I think do fine. I think it'd be just great. The main thing is the voice and the presence. I don't know how he does with the scary Batman voice. I will give. Did they do the voice alteration tech with Christian Bale or with Robert Pattinson?
I think that was Pattinson because I want to say Bale used, but here's the
you're
other
right.
thing.
Bale used his voice. Pattinson. That's the one thing that I do think was cool is that they used the electronic voice alteration to give him the scary voice.
And it also made sense why Batman had such a deeper voice than when he was actually Bruce Wayne. Because he was wearing something that altered his voice when he talked to whatchamacallit, and that makes a lot more logical sense.
Or you have Bruce Wayne as an actor on par with Kevin Conroy.
All right. So on that note, we're going to stop. We're going to take our commercial break. We're going to come back and talk about what I always like to say, some big sweaty men grabbing each other in a wrestling ring. And we hope you guys stick with us. You're watching the Cheap Pop Podcast with a brand new look right here on First GenXers YouTube, Double KK Double Network YouTube, or Twitch. Wherever you're joining us from, we appreciate you, and we'll be back. Peace.
You got to keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful, I'm lovely, and I'm being real with this. Please don't judge me. I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep a grind mode button, push it, make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose, camera switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that banner.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah. Come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. If I'm in love within yourself. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
Get on your mark, let's go. This is now versus then. Burning up your radio, still turning up the heat with Poetic on the flow. Got you moving to the beats with the Saint as your host. Shout out the collective, hold it down, we gon' clown, that's the lesson. Generation X meets Generation Next with them bangers from the east to the south to the west. Yeah, this how we do it in Sacktown. Slide to the studio, yup, it goes down. These beats gon' pound, waking the game up, told you it goes down. And this is only the intro. Turn the mics on, shout out to my kinfo. Where you at, y'all? Let's get this started. Turn down for what? We about to start the party. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
Hi, y'all. And we are back. And we are back to jump. What's up?
Mute your Zoom.
There you go. Better now?
Yeah.
All right. So
we're having to clutch together because we're using StreamYard now and it doesn't let us chat off stage when we're not broadcasting. So we've got to use Zoom
to
chat. So it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
No offense, love your StreamYard, but not for $200 a week. I'm not. I don't need that feature that bad. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed a new look. We've had it in the works for a few weeks now, and now we're going to jump into. All right.
So I know you've named him, but
I named him Jose. I have no clue who he is.
Okay.
He came with the video editing program that I bought, so I own him. No.
Okay.
All right. So first up is that's right, Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
This week, I wouldn't say their worst week, but not their best week either.
Yeah. There was a lot of things going on. This was development more than entertainment.
Yeah, story development for sure.
Yeah. Story development.
Big
So
time. Because you start with the biggest story, which is I
Braun
love
Breaker.
this because Braun Breaker. But I love what's happening because Seth is basically building the team that's going to come back to destroy him. And if you watch, kind of Roman did the same thing to an extent.
Yeah.
You saw him being brutal with Jay. You saw him being brutal with Jimmy. You saw him being brutal with Sammy. His own actions are what brought down the end of the bloodline. I think we'll see a similar story told with Seth, but not over 5 years. I don't think this will go 5 years.
No, I don't think it'll go 5 years either. Because Seth and Paul Heyman and Braun come out, they defend themselves. Seth builds himself up. And then Sami Zayn comes out. Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Sammy interrupts the promo in there, and he reminds Seth that it's like, look, we're friends, so our kids play together. We're close. So I'm telling you this as your friend, that you're just doing the exact same thing that Roman did with the bloodline.
Yep.
And there's no difference.
Placing yourself in that position of being the hero of wrestling.
And and of course Seth goes, how dare you question my vision?
You're either with us
or you're
against us. Yep.
Yeah. And he gives Sammy a deadline to either get on board, get out, and go to Friday Night SmackDown, or get run over. And
that was a part of the whole night. Was Sammy's big decision? What was Sammy going to choose?
Yeah. And more to the point, it's like, even more setting himself up for failure. It's like, okay, you're going all in with Paul Heyman,
a man who literally betrayed 2 people in one night.
Not to mention Heyman's extensive history of doing shit like that.
Of doing what's best for business.
For him.
And I also think that this is a situation where what we're seeing when it comes to Paul Heyman is I think we're gonna see our first, not the first ever in WWE/F, if you go all the way back. I think we're gonna see our first kind of real like Heyman guy stable.
Yes.
And
And I think that what they're building up to is it's going to be a locker war on Raw.
Yeah.
Because we won't skip to the end, but like you said, all throughout Monday night, people are coming up to Sammy, and Jay gives Sammy support and all this stuff and talking. So I think what we're going to see is, and should we just go ahead and do the end real quick?
Dive on into it.
So Sammy basically tells Seth to go to hell.
Yeah. Like, in the immortal words of Cody, go
Yeah.
yourself. Well, no, he didn't say that.
Go to hell.
Yeah.
And that's when Seth just shrugs and unleashes Braun on Sammy, and Braun goes straight to work. Sammy takes four spears from Braun Breaker.
Oh my God, those were
at the end of the
nasty.
night.
Before we get to the finish. Before we get to the full finish, there was another part of this that I wanted to touch on with they also Seth being the good friend that he is,
Yes.
offered to have Sammy not only transferred over to SmackDown so he would be out of their way, but also said, we're going to get you a world heavyweight title. We're going to get you a WWE title shot.
Now this
with what you call it right as soon as you get there.
With Cena, yes.
With
this
Cena,
is
yeah.
This is Paul Heyman trying to sweeten the pot for Sammy.
Yeah.
Is we'll get you a championship, uncontested championships fight with Cena.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with the winner of Cena Orton at Backlash, after Backlash. Right.
Yeah.
And so like they sweeten the pot really, really good.
Yeah, because Sammy hasn't had the WWE Championship.
Yep. That's all he's ever wanted, really.
Yeah, and so that's what Sammy turned down in there. And Orton, that fourth spear was a full ring circumference top speed spear into Sammy into the barriers.
Oh yeah.
Outside the ring.
It was funny because basically Sammy stood in the ring with the thought process of Braun's on his way to the ring with ring gear on. So you're either going to wrestle Braun or you're going to side with us. And well, Sammy decided to get his ass destroyed by Braun and then get stomped.
Yeah.
And
Braun tosses Sammy back into the ring, and then Seth, in classic Seth messianic pose, does a stomp on Sammy.
Yeah. And like I said, I think that we're okay. Those who are upset that this is going on, how would one of my good friends say it? Buckle up, Becky. It's going to be a long ride. This ain't nowhere near over. It's the same thing I tell people about the Cena Rock, selling your soul storyline. It's not over. Like WrestleMania wasn't the end of it. Like, this story is not going to be over for a while. So buckle up because I
think that this is going to be a year, maybe 2-year storyline where we're going to have a locker room war with one side being Seth's new vision team under Paul Heyman. The other side, we're going to have the faces rally behind Sammy. Sammy's going to be the leader of the resistance movement.
I don't know
because Jay's already in on this.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is that I don't think it will be Sammy or the team that will be going. The big names that will be leading the team that's going back against Seth will be Roman Reigns and CM Punk.
Right, and that's the thing. I can see a core forming around with Sammy, Jay, probably Jimmy, and CM Punk, Roman,
Punk,
definitely. And everyone's going to start taking sides. Yes. Not just, they may not get absorbed into either side, but they'll be affiliated with either side. Like, for example, I'm guessing the New Day, they won't get absorbed into Seth's faction. But
they'll side with him.
They'll side with him, yeah. Yes. And I think we're going to have Cena side with Seth's faction, which would bring Randy over to Sammy's faction, which would be a good counter. You got Randy Orton versus Braun Breaker.
Oh, I'm going to say this. Okay, the only part I will stop you on there is I don't think there'll be any cross-brand stuff. Like, because I think that Triple H is trying to make it a point soon to separate the brands. I think I think leading up to the draft, you may see some stuff like that. And now, if you see Randy join up with them during the part of the draft, you can expect that he's most likely going to be drafted to Raw during the draft here within the next couple of weeks. Okay.
But my point is that Sammy's side needs an enforcer to counter Braun Breaker. And Randy is like the last of the old schools that could stand up to Braun Breaker and be his equal in there. But everyone's going to be picking sides on Raw, going all the way throughout down to the women's division and everything like that. And to your point about Triple H not wanting to mix the brands in there, this past Monday Night Raw, it could have been called NXT Raw. Because
Well, yeah, no. It's not
has
that he doesn't want to mix the brands. It's he wants SmackDown and Raw to be seen as two separate brands.
Right.
So
I
those two brands will stay. But I think there's certain people like the women's tag team champions. They always have the right to move between Raw and SmackDown because there's no other women's tag team belts on the other brand.
Right.
But you'll notice the champions stay on their own brand. You know what I'm saying? The World Heavyweight Champion, the Women's World, and the IC champions stay on Raw. Etc. So I get what you're saying, but I think that we're gonna have to see. I think the big question is going to be answered at the draft when we start seeing where people get moved to, and which people get brought up from NXT. I think that's going to start giving us a more telling sign as to who the stables are going to be moving forward.
And the question that I have, and I asked Dark Lord about this, is who would be a manager on par with Paul Heyman? Or a retired wrestler who could be the face manager.
Oh, I could see. I wouldn't say he would be well, no, because you're probably going to have him on Seth. Here's the thing about it. Well, I'll start out saying he responded to you the same way I responded to you in the chat when we talked about it.
Yeah.
There is nobody on Paul Heyman's level like there right now. So the best that they could probably do would be just somebody who's a good promo guy. Like give him an LA Knight, somebody who can and does and will wrestle, but he's the guy on the mic most of the time. Like it could be Sammy, but most likely the guy speaking for the team opposite Seth is going to be CM Punk.
Okay, now that would work too. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm thinking because he's somebody that can match Heyman word for word. He can match Seth. Promo for promo, so I think, but because really there aren't, and that was kind of what I was explaining to you. The art of the manager.
Oh yeah,
like Paul Heyman's a dying breed in that regard. It's like there aren't many managers out there anymore.
We can't get Jerry Lawler back.
Yeah,
we can't get Bobby the Brain back.
Yeah,
and all these classic wrestling managers in there that would be great fits in there. I mean, if he weren't like in his 80s now, I think I could see Ric Flair coming back to manage it and doing a face turn for one last hurrah. Everyone's saying, "Oh, they're going to bring Ric Flair back so he can tie John Cena." No, Ric Flair is not getting back in the ring.
He's not coming back as a wrestler.
Braun Breaker
his wrestling days are done, or at least they should be.
They should be.
God forbid.
Braun Breaker will just look at Ric Flair, and Ric Flair's bones will break. Okay.
Yeah. But I think that
love to the guy, but yeah.
I think you would probably use, like I said, you would probably use an LA Knight, a CM Punk, somebody like that that's already good on the mic.
Yeah.
Like I could even say Roman Reigns could end up being the pace, except that Roman has a lot slower of a pace to his promos that a lot of fans don't really that they get behind at times, but not all the time.
Yeah, that's
so I could see it being somebody like Punk or something like that.
I think it's going to be Punk. Train of thought in there.
Well, I'm waiting to see. I'll be honest. While you're thinking about that, I'll be honest with you. I'm waiting to see who else is going to be a part of this fraction because I don't think that Heyman, Breaker, and Seth Rollins is it.
No, it's not. And I think that what they're going to start doing is they're going to start bullying the locker room to build up their faction, and that's what's going to drive people over to Sammy. And Sammy's it's probably going to happen, like you said, after the draft, after Backlash, after all this stuff, when things get settled. And I don't think it's going to go nearly as long as the Bloodline storyline is.
No. I don't think you could run back-to-back 5-year storylines like that.
It's going to be
not successful.
It's going to be a year, maybe 2 years tops.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we have full factions by SummerSlam, and this leads to a War Games match by November, and then we probably get the final blow off at next year's WrestleMania.
Right.
I could see it going like that because, like I said, we're building a faction team now. I could also see Triple H saying, you know what? This is going really well. So let's take it another year. There's
It's
still
crazy,
more
yeah.
meat on this bone, because a lot of people don't realize that that's a little bit of what happened with the bloodline and why the bloodline went on so long. Is because there ended up just being so much meat on that bone in the story that why not keep it going?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even with the negative backlash, the predominant feeling was that people enjoyed the story as it was being told.
Right. It's just that it went on too long. It's like, we like it, but let's move on.
Yeah,
Let's try
I think
something
in
new.
regards to this, I think that people got reinvested in it once the championship wasn't a part of it anymore. And I understood their frustrations, but in order to tell the story that they wanted to tell with Roman, he had to hold on to the title that way.
Right.
He had to. So but also I also understand people's frustrations with but see, we're old enough that we remember two different generations of wrestling. And I talk about this all the time. The pre-Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan's championship run lasted 5 years.
Yep.
Nobody complained, but it was also because we only saw him like twice a week. We didn't get 12 hours of Hulk Hogan every week. I think we would have been sick and tired of him after a year or two as well. But at the same time, Hogan had like almost a 5-year run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not many people look back on that with a negative light.
Yeah.
It's because of the Attitude Era. And when that belt was hot potatoed around, I think the WWF Championship belt changed hands something like 17 times in like a 4-year period of time. It was like every one of the top stars of the Attitude Era got a turn with the WWF Championship at least once. And so that's great, but you can't, you can tell a lot of great short stories, but you're not telling a lot of good long-term stories with that.
Yeah.
And again, Attitude Era, and I'll always put this disclaimer on it, is a unique period in time when we had a specific level of talent all in one company at one time. I don't think we'll ever reach that level ever again in one company.
No.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because I can see that we're getting back more into traditional face heel personas rather than just badass. Everyone's just being an absolute badass. And
there are still tweeners.
The badass tweeners.
Yeah, like Rhea Ripley is a tweener. Like Rhea Ripley can be a good guy or a bad guy at a moment's notice.
Yep. Exactly.
But there are very few people in WWE that are that. And most of the ones that are old school people. Like people that have been around for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I'll give a prime example. R-Truth, some say he has become a comedy act. But if you watch R-Truth closely, they can turn him heel at any point, and it would make complete sense.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They can make him a bad guy at any point.
Yep.
So tweeners still exist. They're just far and few between, and they're much more the older school guys. The newer school guys, like you're saying, there was now more of a clear-cut thing between who's a heel, who's a face.
Right. Because having also a locker room war like that, it gives like we've said, John Cena is doing the heel turn for his farewell in there, but also the locker room war, it would give Randy Orton the chance to go from tweener beast to give him a face run.
I don't know. Like I see what you're saying as far as the build and everything, but I think right now I see them running in a different direction with Orton, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see
what happens.
I think what you could see is we could see a heel Orton with Cena screwing him out of the championship at Backlash, or Orton snaps. But
the tea leaves are muddy.
Yes.
Yeah, they're just starting we just got to sip more tea to get down to the nitty-gritty of the leaves.
There you go. But I definitely think, this is not a bloodline storyline. Like, you definitely buckle up, but this is not a bloodline storyline. It's not going to go 5 years, 2 years at max, a year and a half. Maybe we get our blow off at SummerSlam next year. But remember, I believe starting next year, both I believe starting this year, SummerSlam is going to 2 nights. And starting next year, Royal Rumble is going to 2 nights.
Okay.
So literally, we're going to go back to having the big 4 again. I think I think the last one to change will be Survivor Series. And as soon as they can figure out how to make it happen, Survivor Series will become a 2-night event.
Yeah. So, all right. So, getting back to the ladies.
Yeah.
Dark
Rhea had
Lord,
her moment.
I know you and I, we love our Raven Queen, Lyra Valkyria.
Yes, we do.
And Becky Lynch came out, cut a promo explaining why she did what she did.
And
Lyra
evidently,
came out.
Becky's the one who attacked Bailey.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
So
Which, I mean, that could have been first when that first happened. First announcement. I'm like, crap. Are we getting another, Jade Cargill Naomi storyline in here? Nope.
Yeah, but it just didn't
Becky
last
comes
long.
out. Becky comes out, straight up says, "I have investigated this attack on Bailey, and I can say with absolute convictional proof, I did it."
I did it. That was so great.
It was
Becky,
awesome.
you still got a good promo.
Yeah. So Lyra comes out, shows Becky that she's the new, not to be fucked with woman on the roster. Sends Becky running. Yay, everyone's happy. Everyone's good. Lyra starts making her exit back up the ranch, takes another bow for flowers towards the crowd, and Becky comes back out on the ramp, smacks her from behind, knocks her down. So we're definitely going to get
Becky. That's the new heel Becky.
That's going to be Backlash. Probably they'll build up to that in Backlash.
I believe I believe they secured the match before Becky even attacked her. Yeah, during the promo between the two of them, Lyra Valkyria said she wanted to get her hands on Becky, and she said, "I know you won't do it without me putting this on the line. So you want it, Backlash? Let's do it."
Because Becky basically just says, "I'm not fighting unless I get paid."
Yeah.
And Lyra said, "Okay, because you're taking the coward's way out, I'll face you at Backlash, and I'm putting the title on the Intercontinental title on the line."
I love this because at this point they're feeding people to Lyra Valkyria to build her up is even stronger, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yep, I am absolutely loving that. We had a couple of NXT ladies on. Stephanie Vaquer.
Julia, who she's a world-renowned wrestler too, long before she came to WWE, and Roxanne Perez have teamed up. Yeah. And they're starting to attack Io Sky.
They tried to ambush Io Sky in the ring, and Io is like, "You will respect my authority."
I am the world champ.
Yes.
Oh man.
I love Io Sky as the champion. She's so adorably dominant.
Yes. Yes, she's an amazing in-ring competitor. Period.
Yeah,
I love that girl to death.
Great promos in there. She's fantastic.
We've yet to touch on the back and forth between what will evidently be Jey Uso's first challenger, which is the one and only Logan Paul. For those of you who saying boo, screw this, look, the guy's earned the spot. Every match that he's been in has been gold. And if there's anybody that can help make Jay look solid, that they can work well together and make Jay look solid, I think it's Logan Paul. I don't like Logan Paul. I don't. But
I'm rechanneling the Iron Sheik from the Afterlife. Look, the Logan Paul.
The Logan Paul. Or Iron Sheik would probably say, "What the fuck is a Logan Paul?"
that too. That actually reminds me of another thing, because Rusev's back.
Yes.
I think they're going. I think that Seth's faction, Rusev's going to be one of the first people that they try to get on board, so they have another bully dominator.
I think he's going to join.
Yep.
I honestly do. But no, what I was gonna say is, yeah, we missed the now. Dave, there's one part you had to enjoy from that promo, and that's when Jey Uso kicked the yeet out of Logan Paul,
Well, yep.
right to his face, mid sentence,
I
mid
love
word.
that. That was fantastic. Yeah, Logan was putting down the challenge in there, and Jay's just standing there, and all of a sudden, super kick to the jaw sent Logan Paul flying. I was like, that's what I'm here for. That was
Now Logan did get his get back a little bit later in the episode when he hit Jay from behind. And, ambushed him, but it don't matter. Still made you look like a fool, Paul. His promos are getting better. I think he still needs to work on it a lot.
Yeah. Now let's come to the part that really confuses the hell out of me. Which was Pat McAfee addressing the crowd on the attack by Gunther.
My boy Pat ain't playing. And something told me that it was leading to this. It was leading to what we're getting.
Right.
Yeah.
And Adam Pearce was on vacation for whatever reason. And so general manager duties were taken over by Nick Aldis from SmackDown.
Mickie James' husband.
Yep. And so Pat McAfee calls Nick Aldis out onto the carpet, summons him to the ring, and demands a match with Gunther. And Nick Aldis says, fine, that's going to be for Backlash. You and Gunther will square off at Backlash. Now, where the hell is this going?
It's going to a match between Gunther and Pat McAfee. Here's the one thing I'll say. Here's the one thing I'll say. If you haven't, I don't know if you know, because the catalog, if you have Peacock, right? That's how you can watch the pay-per-views? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I believe in the catalog on Peacock, you may be able to find it. But go check out his NXT match, his NXT War Games match with him against him and his boys, literally Pat McAfee and his boys taking on Undisputed Era. That man is another like Logan Paul type situation.
Yeah, I know.
Pat McAfee has some limited skills in the ring.
Yeah,
and Gunther's somebody that can make him look good. Here's where it makes sense. It's not. This match is to further the fact that Gunther is spiraling.
Yeah, but
after losing the World Heavyweight Championship.
But here's my thing. It's gilding the lily way too much here. I mean, we already knew that Gunther was losing it.
Yeah.
With Jimmy. Okay.
Well, no, I think this is going to be. I think there's going to be somebody who comes back. I think Gunther's going to be beating the living snot out of Pat McAfee at Backlash, and then somebody's going to come back. Or wait a minute, no, there's somebody in McAfee's corner. There's already somebody that's agreed to be in McAfee's corner. Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure who agreed to be in Pat McAfee's corner at Backlash. Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner is going to be in Pat McAfee's corner.
Okay, now I'm into that.
So Big Papa Pump is going to be in Pat McAfee's corner for his match against Gunther at Backlash. So I'm here for it.
I'm here for that too. That would be Because the other thing
he got to give me some Steiner math,
Yeah.
Because Pat McAfee and him have a 75.75% chance of winning. I'm telling y'all, dude, just go watch the Braun Breaker version of it from WrestleMania weekend, and you'll get why. Go watch the original from TNA, and it's just such an epic promo. There's only one other promo that stays with me more, and I can't remember the specific words of it now, but James Storms gives it, and he's talking to the SoCal Connection, Christopher Daniels and Christopher Daniels and Kyle. No, not Kyle. Frankie Kazarian. Christopher Daniels, Frank Kazarian, and he's talking to them about social media. And he's like, I'll tweet you. He says something about I'll tweet you and then I'll punch you in your Facebook. And the promo is just so smooth where he like smoothly mentions just about every social media site that's out there in the process of cutting this promo about how he's going to kick their ass. And it's the only promo for me that gets me as much as the Steiner Math promo does.
Yeah.
And the Steiner Math promo only gets me because the math on it works.
as pure addition, output. So yeah, because the other thing that I could see, like you were saying, Gunther's beating up Pat McAfee, and then I could see Jimmy Uso coming back and getting a little revenge on Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of payback.
I can see this going on. There's a lot of ways that this can go. There's rumors that this is supposed to be leading. There or not a rumor. Somebody tried to start a rumor that this is supposed to be leading to Goldberg versus Gunther at SummerSlam. That had been talked about a long time ago, and so people think that that's what they're heading towards. But I don't. We'll see though.
I mean, we'll see because again, Goldberg coming back, that would play into he's another Paul Heyman guy.
Well, yeah. You know what I would prefer to see? That's another Paul Heyman guy. I'll be honest with you. Because the match that we've always wanted it about 5 years ago at WrestleMania, didn't get it. Wanted it all the way up till he left for a little bit. But I believe he could come back if he wants to. And that is the man, the myth, the legend that is known as Brock Lesnar. We've wanted Gunther versus Brock for a while. So I could see this where Brock comes back as a face because Gunther's the heel. And have Pat McAfee getting his ass whipped, and maybe Scott Steiner's been knocked out by Gunther. And then all of a sudden, dun, 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 and out comes Brock. And Brock gets the dancing, and then him and Gunther just go at each other. Because, like I said, we got a face-to-face with them in the Royal Rumble like a couple of years ago and a couple of face-offs in the ring, but the match never happened.
Yeah.
Here's your chance.
Yep. So lots of potential possibilities. What else were we missing from Monday night before you?
Vanker versus Ivy Nile.
Yeah. Vaquero versus Ivy Nile.
Vaquero, Vaquero, yeah.
It's okay.
Good match. Like, Ivy Nile's a hell of a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like,
it was really great. Yeah. And, she's a good female heel in there. I'm just sorry that, Chad Gable is just doing, Dollar Tree Kurt Angle at this point.
Oh my goodness. R-Truth, my boy.
Yeah.
Walked up to Chad Gable. There's a viral clip of him walking up to Chad Gable, and he goes, "Hey, what's up, Mini Kurt Angle? Glad to see you're okay." And walks away from him. And I'm like, that's the thing about it. I love R-Truth, like his whole character. And I'm going to get into this just for a couple of seconds when we talk SmackDown for a quick minute. But R-Truth is one of the treasures of wrestling that never needs to go away. Like, his comedic timing is insane, and he's a fairly decent wrestler, even at close to 54, 55 years old.
Oh yeah, dude, they could bring back Absolute Truth.
Yeah, well, they did for a little bit, and they got a world tag team title run out of it. So they could bring them back again, even though the Miz is with the Mello is Miz. I don't know, or he is him, or she is them. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm here for it. But just one moment I'll mention from SmackDown. Randy Orton just came out. He had just cut a hell of a promo on John Cena, talking about how he's going to put him down with the RKO because he had no choice.
Yep.
And Randy Orton goes backstage, and R-Truth walks up to him and goes, "Randy Orton, I'm here to tell you that my childhood hero John Cena is going to beat you at Backlash." And Randy Orton's like, "Truth? What? Truth? Really? He's like, "Yeah, man. John Cena told me himself. He going to beat you at Backlash. You better be ready for an ass whooping." And Randy Orton's like, man, Jimmy Uso walks up and is like, Randy, it's okay. I got this. You better get your boy. He's like, I know, man. I know. He's like, dude, what are you doing? And Truth's like, nah, John Cena told me, man. He's like, Truth, like, man, you know that man will punch your head into the crowd. He's like, He's like, I don't care, John Cena, my childhood hero. He has been running with that John Cena is my childhood hero gimmick for like 6 years now.
Oh God!
And it's funny every single time I see it. When he does the 5 knuckle shuffle in the ring, oh my God.
Yeah.
R-Truth, blessing.
Yep.
Blessing and a half. So SmackDown was pretty good. I finished watching it yesterday morning. Was up kind of late on Friday doing some other stuff. But I'll say, hey, what's up? CJ Manning with the raid.
Hey, how we doing? Thank you, sir.
I want to say, y'all welcome to the show. What's up?
Let's go.
Good evening, Ms. Man 75. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I want to say but yeah, so like I just see SmackDown really was more so about we got the announcement that Jacob Fatu is going to be in a fatal 4-way at Backlash for the U.S. title. Fatu, Fatu? It's going to be Fatu, Priest, McIntyre, and LA Knight are going to be the 4 that are going to be competing for the title. So this is going to get interesting. That match specifically. And then nothing from Cena, of course, because Cena's gone with the title until his next pay-per-view match. So we just got the promo from Orton. And then I want to say SmackDown closed with a fatal 4, or not fatal 4, but a tag team match. What's up, B? The Rock 1906? Yeah, Fatu is pretty deep. Jacob Fatu is a beast. And he's from the Bay Area. Or Sacramento, more specifically. That's the city I'm in right now.
East Bay.
Yeah. So, but that whole family is amazing.
Yeah, and that's I guess why they had to do the bloodline, because like 30% of the WWE stable is from the same family.
Oh yeah.
And they're all great.
And they're all great. Solo's great. Like it's what they're doing with the bloodline right now. Oh, you did see WrestleMania? Yeah, it was pretty good. We talked about it, man. Like this was a good one this year. A lot of people felt like it disappointed, but not me. I was happy with all the belts changing hands, etc. But people talk about that family like it's a bad thing. And what they're doing right now is they're kind of letting the bloodline settle. Like in the sense that everybody's kind of settling into their own roles and doing stuff like that. We're not doing the bloodline faction thing anymore. It's just everybody from the bloodline spread out across WWE kind of doing their own thing.
Yep.
I think that's a good thing for right now. Give them a couple year cool off period. And then we'll see some, just like with the Shield. The Shield went on for about 1.5 years, and then they broke up. And then over the next like 5-6 years, the Shield got back together. The Shield broke up. The Shield got back together. The Shield broke up. 2 of the Shield got back together, but the third one wasn't there. It's like,
Speaking of
they'll
the
do
Shield,
the same thing with the bloodline.
Speaking of the Shield, with Seth and Roman going at it, you think we got a chance of seeing Dean Ambrose?
No. Ambrose is happy with AEW, and I don't see him jumping ship back. At least not anytime soon. Now, I'm not saying that's a forever thing, but I just not anytime soon do I see him jumping back to WWE. So we just got Seth and Roman for right now, and that's good enough.
That's more than enough. Yeah.
I like me some Dean Ambrose, but John Moxley seems to be much happier where he's at. So but it is funny because I would tell people this: WWE had a lot of releases recently. And they released 17 wrestlers, and Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai being among them.
Ooh.
Yeah. Here's the thing about it. Every year after WrestleMania, there are cuts. Every year. Because they have to bring themselves back to business-wise, terms-wise, black. Yeah, Seth was definitely looking good at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins, we talked about it here. Dave agreed as well. Like Seth had one of the best intros of the weekend. I
kind of like Seth, but I still just can't respect the guy that looks like he dumpster dives Ric Flair's cast-offs for sequence.
Seth has a unique look to him.
That's one way of putting it. Yes, especially because
Kanye West in them big red shoes unique. But anyway,
Monday night he came out looking like he was like some crime lord from an 80s action movie.
I love it. I love the glasses. The glasses had me dying with the sleepy eyes on them. That was just great. That was great. And Seth is classic bad guy. You know, but all right. So yeah, but I do wish that AEW, ROH, New Japan, they'll pick up these guys.
Yeah.
And they'll still have a good run.
At this point, why haven't we had a Braun versus Braun match?
Braun Strowman versus Braun Breaker?
Yeah.
I want to say we did.
Okay.
For the IC title. Yeah. No, that was for the US title. That was Braun Breaker. Okay. That was Braun Strowman versus LA Knight. My bad. Right. No, I don't think we ever did. You may be right. Make it happen, WWE. Hire him back for the 5th time. Just to put him in the ring with Braun Breaker. But Braun Breaker is, like I said, Scott Steiner's boy, and you can see it every minute.
Rick Steiner's boy.
Or Rick Steiner, sorry, my bad.
Scott's nephew, Rick's son.
Yes. All right. So that is going to take us and close us out with WWE talk, and we will go to everybody's favorite segment here on Twitch. All right, video game reviews.
Yeah.
You got some stuff for us today, Dave.
Yeah. So we ended SmackDown Alley talking about wrestlers that are cut off. Well, let's talk about Electronic Arts doing what Electronic Arts does. Laid off over 300 employees.
Oh, no.
And they also canceled the next Titanfall game.
Wow, that's insane.
Yep.
I don't know if y'all were looking forward to Titanfall, but like, wow.
Titanfall, I think I liked the concept of Titanfall. I didn't like the forced multiplayer.
Okay.
That's, I just hate forced multiplayer games.
Yeah.
There's a lot that, if I want to play a multiplayer game, I'm going to go to a straight MMO. I'm not going to go onto a console game where there's like, I want to be able to go at my own pace.
Right. Well, for me, I'll be honest with you. I don't play most of them. Titanfall 2 again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like playing the first one? Be the Rock 1906? Like, I wanted to play it. The commercials made it look super cool, but I never quite got into it. Like, I did find one recently called Skyforge on the PS5 that I liked.
Skyforge, I got into that back when it first came out, and it's kind of,
The second one was better. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah, Skyforge is kind of but I've just got more than enough, and MMOs are unfortunately a dying breed in the industry, but there's still some that are still doing it.
They had their like World of Warcraft. The fact that game's still going is just wow. Yeah,
that World of Warcraft is like the McDonald's of MMOs at this point. It's the brand name. It's never going to die. They're just going to keep going with lowest common denominator and cool little add-ons and
can you remember
cosmetics.
The name is Starfield? What was the name of it? It was a top-down real-time RTS, and you played as one of 3 factions, and one was like a human. I want to say it wasn't the Borg, but it was another one where like there was one that was it was Star something.
Star Control?
No. Like I said, it was Yes, that was it. That one I played, and I bought all the extra like little whatchamacallits for it and all the little extra discs. But like, I can't get into the online ones. Like, I don't know. I've never been much of a person that liked to play online in the first place. Like with others. I'd rather like, unless it's not even sports games do I like.
Yeah, I think that the problem is that you and I kind of have the same problem. We're too old and we ain't got time for smack talking younger kids. Okay, and especially in games that I'm just trying to play the damn game. Yeah, and so if you get in with the right crew in an MMO, get in a right guild with that, everything's chill.
Yeah,
it's like playing with friends in there. It's the random pickup groups, the pugs, that kill it because you don't know who you're going to get in there, and a good 7 times out of 10, you get a bunch of shithead kids. I'm sorry, that's just the truth.
It is. Like, I'll say it like this. I'll use a prime example of, and this is me showing my age, Fortnite. And not because I'm mentioning this game, but because I had a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
What's SWTOR? Oh, Knights of the
Star Wars: The Old Republic. That's the Star Wars MMO game, which was great, but suffers from EA being the publisher. And I mean, dude, you want to go Star Wars Old Republic? I've got established characters on there. I haven't played in a long time. I've got to update because my code authenticator device just finally ran out and died. Dead battery now, so I got to reset everything. But yeah, dude, I mean, Old Republic, you can be Jedi or Sith. You're playing either the Republic or you're playing the Sith Empire. Mm-hmm. You've got multiple Force using classes in there on both sides.
Okay. I just remembered something about. Not the Old Republic. Jamil used to play the Old Republic when we lived together. When I got into it was when he started playing Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic was the original game by BioWare.
Okay, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So then that's when I started playing.
Then they did Knights of the Old Republic 2, but even then that was still just party tactics. Old Republic was the MMO. The first Star Wars MMO was Star Wars Galaxies, which is still kind of around. It's all fan supported right now because Sony's not doing anything with it. But Old Republic is still around, and it's still pretty fun. I'll take you through it sometime. So
for sure.
All right.
What else we got? Or do we got?
Okay. So next up, Bethesda with the Oblivion remaster now out and hitting. What?
Yeah, I was gonna say no. Swab, another friend of the show, one of the hosts from Double K's Classroom / West Coast Bias. He's a huge Oblivion fan. Been on it for like a week.
Yep.
Like every time I call him, he's like, "Oh, I'm just on this Oblivion." I'm like, "What, dude?"
Yep. And now all the clickbait headlines are now secrets of Oblivion remastered instead of secrets that you didn't know in Skyrim. So, but now, Oblivion's out. Everyone's playing again, which means it's time for Todd Howard to get back on the Overhype Express for Elder Scrolls 6. God love you, Todd Howard, but overpromise and underdeliver is your business philosophy.
And I'll tell you, we're going to transition into something with that. But go ahead.
Yeah. And he is saying that the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to redefine open world RPGs similar to how Starfield did. And
as long as it's taking you to make it, it better.
I love Starfield.
Yeah.
But I will be the first in line to admit that Todd, that's damning Elder Scrolls 6 with faint praise. Okay,
Probably.
it's not the flex you think it is.
Or like I said, it better. It didn't take you long enough to come out with the game. It's kind of like the makers of GT6. You better revolutionize something as long as you made us wait for this game.
Oh, yeah, and GTA 6 is now being compared to StarCraft.
Is that
in terms of it's entering into the it's coming out next year. It's coming out next year. It's coming out next year. The way StarCraft.
Hold up.
Or
the new official date.
Star Citizen.
I'm like, the new official date release for GTA 6 is May 26th, 2026. So that's the most recent report.
To be subjected to change 1 month before release.
Yes.
All
right as ever. No. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna wait. They're gonna wait right until the doors are supposed to open and go, oh, we got a new release date. And it's like a year from now. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I know you guys waited overnight for the past 3 nights here to make sure you were the first people to get it, but sorry, man.
Yeah.
Or right before you're supposed to download, you go to download it, click. Yeah, this game will not. Your pre-order is still going to be honored, but we're not releasing this till 2027. I'm sorry. It's like, really, you just wanted my money, didn't you, Rockstar? Y'all about to go out of business trying to make this game, and y'all just wanted our money. That's what it is. Pre-order it. It's coming out on May 26th. Oh nope, sorry. You have to hold on to this pre-order for another 5 years before the actual game's gonna come out. But anyway,
So that's all that I've got on the video game front. Well, how about you?
All right, I just got one thing. They did make an announcement. This was actually 3 days ago that they made an announcement that you'll be able to order the Switch 2 GameCube controller on May 8th to April 12th, or May 8th to May 12th for those that get invites from Nintendo. All Switch Online subscribers will have a chance to order the controller starting on May 13th, and the controller is not required to play GameCube games on the Switch 2.
Okay.
But evidently, you have to be at minimum. You have to be an online member, Switch Online member, in order to be able to get it.
But how about releasing the Nintendo 64 controller for the Nintendo 64 games I have on my Switch, like GoldenEye?
I tried to play GoldenEye with the Xbox controller. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
But it's
just kind of wonky.
The Switch is just very wonky. And what we're on the subject of ports, Rogue Squadron. Get Rogue Squadron ported to the Switch, Nintendo. Yeah. Come on. You gave us Pod Racer, but not Rogue Squadron?
You know what me and my daughter are actually going to be trying later on this week is I actually downloaded, because it was a free game on PS5, the Just Dance. Never tried it. About to make myself look like a complete fool. My daughter's like, is it like the Wii? I said, no, because this time there'll actually be a camera watching us to make sure that we hit the moves right. It's not just moving around the controller. It'll actually be a camera watching you. And she was just like, oh. I'm like, yeah. That's what I said. Well, I got that. And then I got, here's a great story for you that I found a while back. As it says, the title says, police visit Twitch streamer Extra Emily during live IRL broadcast amid threat. So police visited her house midstream due to a threat, ensuring her safety.
So
what it talks about the street?
It wasn't a SWAT?
No, it wasn't a SWAT. It was the police actually responding to, I guess, some threats. After someone called the authorities with a threat against her life. I guess they called the authorities with, that's stupid. Like, why you gonna call the cops? Like, I'm gonna kill this bitch. I'm telling you. She don't get off my TV, I'm gonna hurt her. Like, what?
Recording this crime spree is the best idea we ever had.
Like, who comes up with that idea, and why didn't somebody else slap him?
Well, yeah. It's like, I think that because, swatting is now being taken seriously, and it's a federal offense now. for interstate communication, but and it also puts the person in danger, which can really amp up the charges to potential murder charges.
Yeah.
I can see this is going to take over as swatting, where dude spoofs a phone number, does an anonymous, I'm going to, harm this person doing the stream just to have the stream interrupted. And
only problem is that they copying off of Law and Order SVU when Robin Williams was on there, and he was the creepy dude that called and made the store managers molest their employees. It's already been done, y'all. It's already been done. All right, you can't get nothing past SVU. No, the scary thing about Law and Order, all of the Law and Order series, is that pretty much all of those stories are based on some level of real life story. So that's the scary part about it.
You want real life story? I remember a Law and Order episode before SVU where it was I think I don't remember who it was, but the detective team was investigating the rape of a minor that occurred at the opening of a new Manhattan skyscraper, and the real estate developer was the one being accused. That's kind of familiar.
We'll just leave that to your imagination. We'll leave that to your imagination.
No comments.
But that'll be all of our video game talk. What's that? That'll be all of our video game talk for today. So that leaves us with our final segment. Where can we find you next?
That's right. Well, not in Vegas.
All right.
Like that sign would indicate.
All right. Let them know, Rune Squire. Where can we find you next, brother?
I will be back on tonight doing the night shift, going back to Spider-Man, webbing up more villains and patrolling more of Manhattan. I'm pretty much kind of switching to a 4-day weekend format. So Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, and just taking Tuesday through Thursday off to rest and recuperate. Friday and Saturdays is going to be Horizon Zero Dawn and downloads, and Sunday and Monday is going to be Spider-Man with downloads.
Awesome. Yep. Awesome. Keeping it simple. You can catch me as far as video games next on Tuesday morning, 10:15. I'm going to be playing some NCAA EA Sports college football, or some I think this week I might do Madden. We'll see. And you can catch me next, I would say, at the Classroom and the debut of the new look of the Classroom, but unfortunately the Warriors couldn't close out their game 6 against the Houston Rockets, so there will be a game 7 tonight. So I want to focus on the game. So and O'Malley wants to focus on the game. We're both big Warriors fans, so there won't be any Classroom tonight, but we'll be back next week to talk about whether or not to either talk shit about them if they lost, or talk good about them if they won, and talk about the next round that starts today as well. So other than that, y'all have a blessed night. I hope you guys have all enjoyed the new look for the Cheap Pop Podcast. We should hopefully get Saint back next week. He should be we should get Saint back next week. He should be on later tonight, according to him, maybe. So there might be an episode of MVT Deuce. It'll be a pop-up episode if it is. If not, then he should be back at the latest on Tuesday with another episode of Now versus Then Deuce. Y'all have a blessed night. This has been the Cheap Pop Podcast. I'm Dark Lord 100. That there is Rude Scryer, and we're out. Peace.